Hey guys, Christian here with the Buckeye and Bluegrass Outdoor Adventure Hunting Show and podcast. So, today I got off work a little bit early and I figured I'm going to come out here and get some late work done that I've been needing to get done as far as trail camera. I got to check the trail camera that I have out here, make sure everything's good with that. Um, take a look at some of the stands that we've got already hung. I need to hang one more on this property, but definitely need to get in here with a chainsaw and clear some shooting lanes because you can't see it. Well, maybe you can. There is a deer stand right there and it is way overgrown. So we're going to have to get another blind around that two-man stand, and we're also going to have to get some shooting lanes cleared out of here. So walking up to the first camera here right behind me, I wanted to stop and check this one and see. I can't remember if I have a card in it or not, but I want to see if the batteries are still good. They're probably not. It's been out since last year. One thing to always remember when you're setting your trail cameras, always face them north to south if you can. You will get a lot of really cool sunset and sunrise pictures if you don't, but if you're going to set your trail cameras out facing east to west, one thing you want to try to do is like what I've done on this camera here. This camera is in a corridor. If you can see right behind me, there's a big corridor that just runs right down the middle of this property. And by setting the camera right here, I'm going to be able to see anything that's using this corridor, because deer are inherently lazy animals. They're not going to run through all this brush back here unless they're either spooked or they feel pressured. That is basically a get the hell out of here as fast as I can. Now, at nighttime in the summer when these deer are moving through, especially a lot during the season, early season, if they're not pressured, if these deer are just still doing their own thing, they're not going to be crashing through the brush. Okay, so they're going to use these corridors. They're going to be using these open spaces inside the woods that provides them cover, concealment, anything else that they would need to kind of hide and just get through here quietly while not exerting a bunch of energy jumping over logs and crashing through brush. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to check this camera here, see if there's a card in it, and get it switched out. I'm going to leave this camera here. I don't want to move this one because I've gotten a lot of good pictures of deer coming through here. Bucks will use this quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this one here and just kind of see what's on it. Well, according to this camera, it is at full battery life. So I think we're just going to go ahead and clean up the lens a little bit. We're going to get some SD card in there and see what it gets for us. Now that is what we like to see. Deer trail all through here. Alright guys, so we're coming up to the second camera that I've got out here. Other than I definitely need to get back here with a weed eater and clear a lot of this out here. I got my stand right behind me there. I want to go over and check that, make sure it's good, nobody's been messing with it. But one thing about setting cameras up in an open area like this, you're gonna get a lot of grass pictures. You're gonna get a lot of pictures of just random stuff coming through. You want to try to get it as high up on a tree as possible, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute. It's really going to help cut down on those pictures you don't want of like the wind blowing the grass, and anything else, I guess, that you just really don't want to come through. So, well, let's get over here and check this camera and see where it goes. Well, it definitely looks like something happened here with this camera. I don't know if it just slid down or what happened, but it was not down there when I come through last season. But what we're gonna do is knock off some of these branches right here. I want to get this up higher. You see how tall the grass is through here. Anything that comes through here, it's really going to be hard for the camera to pick it up. So we're going to get that knocked down for sure. Get it cleaned up. Out here I like to bait. Next year, I'm in the process of getting some equipment, and we're actually going to clear some of this out right here and put a food plot in. But for now, for the time being, we're going to bait out here. So this needs to be knocked down for sure. Knock down a nice little trail that's going to lead up to my deer stand back here. That's going to help me get in very quietly, very efficiently, and hopefully not spook a lot of deer out of here. So this is not a big parcel of land. This is actually, I want to say total amount of woods is 15 acres, maybe 20, surrounded by a lot of agricultural field. And I will show you that in a minute when I head over that way for this other camera. But this is a very big deer bedding area. This is an area that deer are going to come lay down in. They're going to come sleep throughout the day, move around in here throughout the day. A lot of acorns on the east side of the property. So we typically get a lot of our deer in here in the late season. Once food levels have dropped out in the fields, everything's been harvested, we end up getting a lot of deer through here, coming in looking for acorns, looking for leftover bits of food. So we're going to get this camera taken care of and go check out that deer stand. Alright guys, so what we've gone ahead and done with this is we've actually moved it up above my head, and we went ahead and put a stick behind it, if you can tell right here. What that's going to do is going to angle it forward, so now it's up high, but it's not going to be getting pictures of just nothing in front of it, everything in the distance. I have it on this tree for a reason, and that reason is there is a trail that runs from a very well-known bedding area to the east of here. So last year what we had happen a lot was deer were actually coming from the north side of the property, following the tree line all the way through and coming out here, crossing in front of my deer stand and my camera. And we actually ended up getting a ton of pictures this way. So I like where this camera is at. I'm going to go ahead and keep this here. I just put an SD card in it. So I was going to go check my tree stand, but I can tell from here that it's going to need to be adjusted a little bit from what I remember last year. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait, and I'm going to come back this weekend with a weed whacker and a handsaw. We're just going to get a lot of this stuff cleaned up. It's still early. It's still July. We have plenty of time. And the reason I'm making this video here is for anybody who is new to this and who is getting into this. This is the perfect time of the year to prep and get things ready. You can get blinds put out, you can get stands put out, cameras, and it's going to give the deer time to get used to that new thing being there. Like one of the reasons I really love hang-on stands is they're very minimal, but deer do still notice them. So when you put those up months in advance, you're giving the deer time to get acquainted with that being there, to get used to the slight changes in their surroundings. The way I look at it personally is, when you get home, if you put your shoes in one spot and you come home and your wife has decided to move where you put your shoes at when you come in the house, that is going to throw you off. It's going to, you're going to notice it. Something as small and minute as that, but it's in your home and you notice it. So when you're changing up things here in these woods, this is the deer's home. They are going to notice that. So you want to give them time to get used to it. You want to give them time to be like, where did that come from? Oh, well, it's been there a week now, you know, it's fine. So get out here early. It's July. It's about midway through July right now. So we are getting things prepped. I have one more camera I'm going to put up, and I'm going to show you where I'm going to put it up and why I'm putting it there. All right, guys, so we just got the last camera set up. My main reason for wanting to set this camera up here is the farmer this past spring had came in and cleared out a lot of this in the very, very early spring. There was a lot of dead trees in here. There was not a lot of undergrowth. But right here where it really starts to get thick, that is a bedding area that the deer like to frequent in the early season. I've contemplated moving a stand over here. There's quite a few trees that would be good for it. So I've definitely contemplated putting a stand over here. My main goal for putting this camera up here, right there, is I want to see what and how often this opening is being used to travel through, because it's not frequently mowed. So right now it's sitting roughly calf height, and with that I want to know, are they cutting through here and going straight out to the field? Are they cutting through here going to bedding area? Are they coming from my other stand? Where are the deer coming from? So by putting this up here, it's kind of a catch-all, if you will. This whole purpose is just to tell me what is going on in this area before I put a stand up. That way I have all the information I need to make the best choice possible for putting a stand up. So that's why we put this one up here. I just got the card in it, the batteries, it's all good to go. Just did a test run. So from here, we're going to head out to the field. I like to walk the field edge on my way out, and just kind of see what's using it, kind of see what tracks are out there, what's on the field edge, any big deer tracks, any coyote tracks you might need to be aware of. So let's go check that out right now. So something cool I've noticed is, here's the opening that I just set that camera up on. I've actually been able to follow what seems to be a pretty frequently used deer trail right through there, walking out of here. So it tells me that it is being used. I am excited to see what's on there. So as you guys can see, my little hunting woods here is surrounded on all sides with this right here. They just took the winter weed off, just got some beans planted in here. Back here is a much, much bigger woods. And basically, this little woods that I hunt acts as a feeder woods to there. It's a nice little in-between. There's a big chunk of woods like that on the west side, on the south side, and there's another one on the east. And what I love about having access to this piece of property in particular, deer are going to move from those woods to this woods to that woods, or that woods to this woods back south. They are cutting through this woods all the time. All times a day, especially when the rut, there's a lot of bedding area in here, which means there's a lot of does. Last year at one time, I counted 11 does just in this property. And if you have does, when the rut comes around, you will have bucks. So that is one thing to keep in mind, guys. I've had to get very, very good at hunting small properties. If you've been following the show and our podcast for a long time, you know that my buddy Josh is down in Kentucky. And there they have a big chunk of woods in Kentucky that they can hunt. Now, I do not have access to something that big. So I have had to get really, really good at hunting these smaller properties. I did not kill a buck last year, and it's not for lack of opportunities. I, as a hunter, have made a decision to only kill certain mature bucks. That is something that I wanted to do for myself. So when you are setting up, when you get access to these small properties, guys, I have come to not get discouraged, but get encouraged, because I know that these small properties with just a little bit of work, just a minute amount of work, can end up being big payoffs. All right. And it seems that these smaller amounts of woods, they're so easy to get permission on. If you're a respectable, if you're a respectable person, like if you are respectful of their property, you have the ability to get access to these woods. And these woods get overlooked more than anything else. These woods get overlooked, these small patches of woods. Everybody looks at those small patches and go, there's no way there's deer in those woods. I promise you, this property may not hold and sustain deer for a long time, but these properties are being fed by the much bigger properties in the surrounding area. And these smaller properties mean smaller human contact. You're going to have a lot less hunting pressure. So the deer that you're after, they're going to come through here. I see it every year on my trail camera, guys. Every year. So with that being said, I think I'm going to sign off on this video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you want to hear. If you follow the podcast, it's on Spotify. If you are just tuning in, this is your first video you've seen. We're getting better at video stuff, guys. We got new podcast equipment coming in. Make sure you head over to our Facebook page, the Buckeye and Bluegrass Outdoor Adventure Facebook page. Check us out on Spotify. That is also Buckeye and Bluegrass Outdoor Adventures. And subscribe right here on YouTube, guys. We have a lot of stuff coming up, from bear hunts to deer hunts, dove, duck, goose. It's almost our favorite time of year. This, right now, setting out these trail cameras, is just kicking us off. So I hope you guys took some information with this. Tell me in the comments what you guys would like to see from us, what you guys would like us to cover as far as setting up. We're going to have a couple more of these videos coming up. Josh is heading down home to the Bluegrass State to set up his property this weekend. So hopefully we'll get a video update from him. And with that being said, guys, as always, remember to sit still, shoot straight, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.